Okay. So in the last session we completed supplier profile, or say supplier header information upload. Okay. So we taken the data into spreadsheet that we placed in UCM. From UCM we populated data in interface. From interface we imported into application. Okay, the supplier name is FPDI supplier. That is the name we given. We'll just go and have a look. Here we could see the supplier name, FPDA supplier. Now the next step is we have to add the supplier address. We have to add the supplier address. Okay, just open this supplier definition. You can just take the name, that's all. When we create the address is belongs to which supplier we have to specify. So in that case we can use this name. So now we have the spreadsheets. So templates we have. So supplier import, we're done with this. Now we have to create the supplier addresses. So we have a template for supplier addresses, supplier address import template. Open this. So in every template you can find the sample data. Okay, in every template we can find the sample data. Now here you could see the tab called as show additional attributes. Always just click on this, let system display hidden attributes also, so that we can prepare our records. Since every template comes with the sample data, as a mandatory you have to just click on show additional attributes so that you could see all the records and you can start preparing the data. We have two records. I'm going to remove one record. Okay, now we'll go with this. Batch ID is not mandatory, you can remove it. And import action is create. Yes, we want to create the supplier address, and supplier address we want to create against which supplier. We have to take the supplier name. Our supplier name is FPDA supplier. Take that name and stop pasting directly here. I'll take into notepad, take into spreadsheet. A second. Address name.
Lakshman, that import action can be delete also, like create
No.
update. Is there even delete is also allowed?
Delete, no, we don't have delete option.
Okay.
Okay. In fact, from the system also we don't have, right? Normally, if you don't want to use that, it will be end date.
No, some of the APIs or some of the order if you take order management APIs, there is a
That
operation like
depends. See, one
update, delete,
point
and
here.
all, right?
One point here, it depends on which data you are dealing.
Yeah, there's some of them which can be endated, but most of them have option. APIs have option to do all the three operations.
Yeah, yes. So yeah, as you said, yes. So that totally depends on the data, which data we are dealing. Since these are the master records, you don't see that option. And other point is through the spreadsheet, no option for any data. You take any case, any data like master data, transactional data for any application or any product family, you don't find option called as deleting. Only you can create or you can update. Existing record you can update if you want. Done. Fine. So address name, FPDI address, we'll give this name. And when you create the address, what information we normally provide, the same we have to enter in the spreadsheet. We'll go to the address section, not to create the address, just to take the reference of information. Okay. So go to address. We are not creating address directly from the application. We'll just take the required details. To take the reference, you can just enter these details. After taking these details, we can remove this. So you can pick any one of the postal code. Okay, now country. So country they are giving USA, but here you don't find any value as USA. It is just US. Okay, country code is US only. Now address line can say
Lakshman, I have a question. I mean, if you have to enter a data for a multilingual, supplier information, say, how is this the same file that will work for a multilingual stuff, or is it a different format you have to select for a multilingual?
same. Okay, we don't have language specific. If you are going with a different language, templates will remain same.
So does this template have the
No.
language?
No, language specific, you don't find it. You can enter the, the data accordingly here. This same template will support for any language. You can just copy and paste any language of data here. It will accept. Okay.
Okay.
If you're
How does the system know that you are trying to enter a specific language? I understand where you're getting to, but somebody should have, oh, country is there, based on the country, it'll take it. Okay.
No. See, in the template level, that level of functionality they didn't build. That is available in the application. You can enter anything here, any test it will accept and it will take. Once when we are loading, system will have a validation whether that language is enabled for that environment or not. That's all. It will support. You can enter any language and it will support. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just given the address line line one as a, so this is optional field anyway. I just given country US and the address line number one. I just written some text, and here we have to enter the detail information city. You just take from here, just copy and paste city name for this address and state. And the postal code and county. This is a county. Done. And as a part of this definition, address definition, we select address purposes. The same we have to specify in this sheet. So just scroll little right. There's fax area code. We don't require fax number. And here we have those specifications. RFQ or bidding, no. Ordering, yes, and pay. This is going to be payment address also. And additional attributes which you can capture through DFF. Those you can just go through. If any data you may remove it, since we are not using any DFF now. So right here there is some test. So just completely verify all the columns. The reason this is a sampled record. Okay, we are just updating. We are sample data is available, and we are just trying to create our own record by referring that sample record. Done. Okay, what are the information we require? We given import action is create, supplier name is FBDA supplier, which is already created. For that we are creating the address called as FBDA address, and country is US. Address line optional one we already, but we given. And you can go with other information: city, state, county, postal code, and other details. So ordering is yes, order as, and pay site as yes. These two remit to, pay means remit to, and ordering. These two enabled. That's all. Okay. So now we know the process very well. What is the next step? We have to convert this file into CSV. Right. Just go to instructions and CSV generation. Okay. So here you could, if you want to understand more about this template, better you can go through this in all the instructions. But straight away you can proceed to perform the action called as generate CSV file. Okay, generate CSV file. This you can take into our folder FPDI AP Cloud INC. So save. And system is creating the CSV file also. So yes, already we discussed in the last session system creates two CSV files. One it will take into zip file, the other one just it will create and place in the same folder. We're done with this. Now what is the process we have to follow? So when you talk about process, so this is the process we discussed: downloading and preparation and converting. I'm just taking the same sequence of tasks here again. So download activity, yes, already we done with this. I'm talking about just this address template, and we prepared with the data. The next step what we did is we converted data templates into CSV. Done. Now what is the next step? The next step is the file we have to load into UCM. This step you can ignore. Directly you can try to populate the data, okay, in the interface tables. So for what we did in case of supplier profile or supplier address, supplier header information, so we loaded that file into UCM. Once you load the file into UCM, that would be available when you go and run the load interface file for import. So if you don't upload in UCM, it won't be available, so that directly we can upload it. If you upload into UCM, you don't need to upload once again when you run that load interface file for import. You can simply choose it, which is available within the instance. If you don't load into UCM, no issues. Okay, you can select that file from the browse option, upload option as a parameter. So this step you can skip. Okay, this step you can skip. It is not mandatory. By uploading the file, you can hold that file in the UCM to select as a parameter in the next step. So if you don't upload directly, you can upload that file as a parameter, then you can proceed with this step. Okay, this step is not mandatory. Just to understand, we did it. So you don't need to load into UCM. As a part of populate data in an interface table, we'll be picking that file. It will be placed in the UCM and it will get selected as a parameter to populate the data in the interface table from that file. We'll go and see that. Okay, we executed the three steps. Now we are not going to do it. Okay, this is not required. If you want to do it, or else ignore it and directly you can go with this step. We'll see that. So populate data in interface tables. How to do that? By running the load interface file for import, right? So you can just, I'll open the other, this we can keep open so that we can take any reference information when you create the address or site assignments. Now we can just go to schedule processes. Go to schedule process. Schedule processes. Say schedule new process. The job name is load interface file for import. Okay, load interface file for import. Say okay. Just click on OK. Select import process. What we want to import? Supplier addresses, right? So you look for that process name. Import supplier addresses. So this is the job name we have to select. Import supplier addresses. Yes, where we have that supplier address related information. That information is not available in UCM. If it is available in UCM, if you click on this drop down, it will display that file, but we didn't upload into UCM. Reason, we want to directly upload into UCM through this parameter only. Now if you say upload, it will be uploaded to UCM, then same file will get selected here. Go to upload new file, say browse. Okay, now you can just go with the, sorry, so where is our, Here, this is a folder, and you can pick that file. Okay, POZ, purchasing supplier address interface. Select it. That's it. So that this is how, like on the fly, you can select the file also. Okay, you don't need to place and you don't need to pick at the time of this load interface file for import. While you are doing that process, when you're running that process itself, you can pick that file as a parameter. Reality, what happens is it will take into UCM and the same will be selected here. Now this file will be holded by UCM only, and that system can identify that is selected as a parameter in this job. Now you can say submit. Now what are the data we have in this file that would be populated in the interface table? Just refresh. Okay, what is the next step? The next step is importing that information from interface to base tables. So you could see the status has succeeded. Now to submit that import process again, import supplier addresses, you have to refresh the navigation. Go to navigator, click on again schedule processes, say schedule new process. So the process name is import supplier addresses. Okay, import supplier addresses, select and say OK. Click on OK. Say submit. Okay, done. So now we'll go and verify the supplier definition.
Hey, Lakshman, quick question.
Yeah.
Is there any number of records limitation?
No. You can go with a big number, large number of records. No number limitation we have.
Excel has a limitation of 1 million records, I think.
Sorry?
The Excel has limitation of 1 million records, rows.
Oh, maybe not sure about that, but I could see like wherever we use just there was no limit which we could see, so it was allowed all the records which we taken into the sheets. Okay.
It divides into multiple sheets when the data is more than 70,000.
Have you come across that process?
Yeah, in one of the conversion process when the data was huge, it divides into multiple sheets. But I didn't test it for more than 200,000, but 100 to 150 it's manageable.
No, just you could use it for thousands of records also. No, have you seen that as just it is dividing automatically?
Yeah, it divided into multiple sheets. I saw that.
Okay. After what number? After how many records?
Well, I don't remember, but the latest version of the Excel handles that.
It's around 60,000.
For each 3,000 for each spreadsheet.
Okay. Maybe I never come across that thing. Like we loaded data, but a large volume. Fine. But anyway, the finally just any number of records you can finally take into the application by using this process. Okay, done. So now we just submit it, and we'll go and check that record. Uh, FPDI supplier, right? Just go to addresses. Okay, the same information what we specified over there. All the details you can see here. Okay. The same information what we just entered in the spreadsheet, the same system taken here. All the details. So this address what we given. FPD address. FPD address. Okay. Address line we given as a line number 1. This is the name we given. The as is it taken. That's all. Fine. Now we have to create the site. Okay. This just so you can say save and close. So go to sites. We are not going to create from here, just to take the reference of information. We are coming here to site. Just keep it open. Just we will take the just BU information only. Now we're done with this sheet. Now go to template called as sites. So here we have a template for supplier sites. So just click on show additional attributes, and you can remove these additional records except one. So batch ID is not required. Import action is create and supplier name. Now we need supplier name. Supplier name is FPDI supplier, right? And procurement VU name that you can take from the application. Cloud INC US business unit. Cloud INC US business unit. And address name. Address name we have to select what are the address name we have here. The address name is FPDI address. FPDI address. And what name you want to give as a site name. Say FPDI site. Sourcing, purchasing, yes. Procurement costs, no. So pay site. So you can drag little right. So communication, and just you can go through all these columns. Email address not required. Default pay site, no. Just look into all the columns, the required information you can enter. What you think the information is not required, you can just remove it. The payment currency you can keep USD only. and pay group and all not mandatory. You can just go through all the columns. Payment terms not required. You may enter immediate to get default. I mean, it will take at site definition level as a default. Just verify all the columns because it's a sample record we are using for reference to create our own record. There could be some sample data. Just verify all the columns. Done. So we given the required details to create the site. So here in the application, so see, we don't have any site information, right? Now we are going to load it. So we are ready with information. Now what we have to do, we have to generate the file. Generate CSV file and save it. And save the CSV file also. Okay. Now the process remains same. So what we have to do is we have to populate. I mean, we don't need to take this file into UCM. It's not mandatory. Directly we can submit load interface file for import process. So go to schedule process. So we are on the same page, but if you want to submit another job or another request or another process, you have to refresh. Otherwise, the previous job only system will populate when you click on schedule new process. So the job name is load interface file for import. So what data we are trying to load? Sites information, right? So you have to select the job called as import supplier sites. And we didn't upload the data file into UCM. Directly you can select from here. Upload a new file. Click on browse. Here we have the file called as supplier sites. Select it. Say OK. Say submit. Okay, done. So now the next step is importing the same data from interface table to base tables. So refresh the navigation. Go to schedule processes.
Lakshman? In our, like the request that we can able to create a job set, right? Once we have all the files ready, we can create a job set and run at the same time to have the supply sites and contacts to be loaded one after the other. Can we do that?
No, that is not at all recommended. Okay, because it won't happen in one go, right? Because you have players, there will be some issues again. You have to resolve. You have to fix. It's not recommended because if it is a very standardized process, some sequence of reports where you no need to look into the validations and all, you can go with the job set. But for this process, job set is not recommended. The reason is, so say you created job set, you kept all those in the sequence, and when you are going to submit, where you will be specifying that information. Each job which you submit, you require specific parameters. Okay, And again, there is no guarantee one after another record will get processed without any issues. For this process, job set is not at all recommended. We don't use it. For another standardized reports or processes, yes, you can use it, which are very much stabilized. These all will, you can understand. It's not like there is no stabilization. It's based on the data. These will behave, right? So we don't use the job set for this at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. So I just by mistake I selected some other job. So the same is getting defaulted. Let me refresh again the page.
Lakshman,
Schedule. Yeah.
if we want to create a DFF on the supplier side, so for example, like we want to create a DFF for the withholding tax, and we want to have some values in the DFF. So how we can do that in cloud?
So you know in EBS, right, how to do it?
Yes. Yeah.
The same process here. We have a task called as payables descriptive flex field. That is a task name. Okay. So once you go there, you could see all the DFFs based on the page. You can find the name. Okay, supplier level, supplier profile means supplier DF descriptive flex field, and site level means supplier site descriptive flex field. Invoice header means invoice header descriptive flex field. Just use the task called as payables descriptive flex field. Within that, you can find all. You can search and you can find out. Okay. So 1 second here.
So extension to the same question, Lakshman.
Yep.
If we don't know the descriptive flex field in EBS, you go to the the help examine and find out the descriptive flex field name, right? So is there a way here?
Here, no. It's see, it's finding the descriptive flex field won't become a challenge. The reason is, like on which form or which page you want to use the descriptive flex field with the same name you could see.
Okay.
Example of EBS. It's not like it won't be in the different name. So KFFs and all, it's a totally kind of application specific and will have a specific. But here, DFFs are form specific or web page specific. So what record the page or form talks about, with the same name you can find. You can just go to that. That's what, as I said, payables descriptive flexible. You can go there based on that page. With the page name, you can search the page related to something like some say, for example, you could say the payment. So payment related, you can just search with the payment. Then all payment related, okay, descriptive flex fields will get displayed. You can pick which you are looking for. So there won't be any difficulty to find out. The same form of page name, normally we find it.
Yeah, as you said, another suggestion is now we can look into that, but nobody should create the descriptive flex field as you suggested. Just
in this instance, that's what I requested. Okay,
yeah.
we'll see that. We'll go through. Yep, fine. So we have to submit the job. Why it is not displaying? 1 second. So let me log out and log in. Fine. Go to schedule process. So what we want to import, sites information we have in the interface level that we want to import. So look for the job called as import supplier sites. Say okay. Say okay and submit. Let's refresh. So meantime we'll navigate to supplier definition page.
Ashwin?
Yeah.
There is nowhere we can able to enable the trace, right, in the Oracle Fusion to check the performance of any kind of a job or something we are submitting for long-running jobs. So is there any way that we can enable the trace just like the way we have in R12 content program?
Trace, you can do that. You can set that the profile option, diagnostics. You can set that will trace.
Crafty
That
and
is available.
Lakshman,
With error.
why we running this import supplier sites program?
Sorry.
Why are we running this import supplier sites program after load file to interface?
To get the data into base tables.
Oh, okay. Only sites information. It should say the
For
all the supplier information,
For
right?
everything, every record we have to run it. For header and
Okay.
we completed, address also we did it. Now we are doing for sites. Since there is some error, I am opening that output file. Okay.
Okay.
Rejection reason is pay and receipt summary code is required when pay and receipt code. Okay. There is some additional element is selected. Pay and receipt is selected in this sheet. That is the reason. Just it is 1 second.
That's a good exception.
So we'll just go through. We didn't notice that. Say remove this. That is the one that's up. Anyway, we'll cross check. So pay on where we have that pay and receipt. So that's all. There is no other issue with this. Now what you can do is you can remove that file. We have this sites, right? So we have this is a site related file. You can delete it, and again you can generate the file. Generate. Again you can redo the process. That's all. Okay, once you place that file, this file system, it will remove the record which is there in the interface level. That's how it works. You don't need to run that punch process, etc. So now what we have to do is we have to run the load interface file for import.
Lakshman, I really don't know without the help of technical people how functional people can able to handle all these validations and all, because if it's technical thing, right, we can write a code and we can get all the exceptions and we can able to report it.
The system is generating the file. Like see when they can get that exceptions through writing the code. Here Oracle written everything in this process, in the functional process when you're submitting that any file, any exceptions, it is generating the just log files and error files. Okay, just now we have seen, right, that is one of the exception issue, like, so we are able to see. So system is system got that capability of identifying those issues and generating the file. We can look into that and we can go and correct them and you can resubmit.
Yeah, but right now you have only one record, right? Let's imagine that we have like hundreds more than 100,000 data sitting in that CSV file, and if any of the errors comes, right, it's not like one or two, if it is more than
See,
to the extent.
yeah, even there are many issues. The issues, even technical people are writing the code, their code will identify the exceptions, nothing else other than that. Here also it will be identified. In that case, if technical people are writing code, if exceptions are identified, what needs to be done? Correction should be done. The same we are doing. Load interface file for import. Here you can select the import process as import supplier sites. See, the finally that what action we have to take, that remains same. That maybe technical people identify, may identify, system identify now in this process. So import supplier sites, and when I talk about validations, they write validations here already. Oracle written in the process. If anything wrong, it will fail. So that will come to know. So browse supplier site file. Submit. Okay, done. Now you can refresh this page. Just go to schedule processes. Search with the supplier. There is some issue with this. One second, again we have to refresh this page. It's not fetching properly. Yeah. So import supplier sites. Say okay. Say okay. Say submit. We'll wait to see the status. Fine, we could see the status has succeeded. Now we can go and find the site information for our supplier. So go to suppliers. Go to task, say manage suppliers. FPDI supplier. Just click on edit. Go to sites. Now we can see the site for this supplier. Okay. I think when we were just updating and all, we removed pay purpose. Okay, only it is there. Only purchasing. Okay. Pay I removed by mistake. So that it is only purchasing is yes. Sourcing and payment site. So marked as a no. So that is the reason you could see if you open this site record, only site purchasing only selected. Pay is not selected. Reason just I didn't select in the spreadsheet. So pay we selected as yes or no. So that's how you can load it. Since we didn't specify in the sheet, it is not just enabling. You may enable here through manual process. Now the next step is assigning this site to business unit. For that we have a separate template, right? Okay. So now you can say save and close this. Done. Now site assignments. So this you can see that.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
Lakshman, I see it was like showing a warning message on the supplier with the icon.
If you
What that means?
one second. If you don't create address for suppliers, it shows warning message there. Contacts. If you don't have a supplier contacts, it shows warning message. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So now we'll go with the site assignments template. Supplier site assignments. Open this. The same process, you could see some sample data. Before that, you can show additional attributes and remove these records and the batch ID.
Lakshman, could you keep two error records also, like instead of one good record? Can you have one good record and two bad records?
Just now we did it, right?
Loading.
Just now we come across that error message, right?
Yeah, that I understood. Yeah, because one of the field the flag was wrong, so that way it showed exception. But what I'm saying is that you
Ravi,
just have one record only.
You can practice those things. If you have an issue, we can work on it. It's a simple process.
Okay.
You are able to get it right. The rest you will be able to go with any scenario. This is a process. Just now we have seen what we did. When you find error, we again repeated the same process, right? That is only the option like that. That's how we have to do when you talk about supplier conversion. When you talk about invoices, interface level, you can go and correct it. That option is available when you are working on that open invoices. I'll take you through that. Here, the same process. If you find errors, that is only the option. Yeah. So here, site is required. We'll take the existing site. So go to sites. What name we given? FBDI site. I'll just close this sheet. FBDI site. And the procurement business unit name is Cloud INC US business unit. The same you can take as a client as well as bill to BU. And ship to locations are not mandatory, right? Optional. Remove that. Use withholding tax not required. Tax group is not required. Just go through it. If you want to enter any default information here, you can enter. So distribution center, account.
Lakshman?
Yeah, please.
If you have multiple BUs, so can we click the list of values by clicking on that field? Will it bring all the values, or we have to just type it everything?
Simple point. This is not connected with your instance, right? That is the first point.
Oh,
this is not.
Okay.
ADFDI. ADFDI will have the connectivity, right? System will establish the connectivity. This is an offline sheet. We are not selecting anything from application. Everything we are entering. Yeah. So that's all. Like just we given the import action as create, supplier name, and site. These are existing information in our application, the BU also, and just we are just specifying we want to associate this site to which business unit. We given required details, and you may go through once again any additional data or anything is there. No, done. Now you can go to instructions and CSV generation. Say generate CSV file. Save it. Follow the same standard process. Done. Now you can go to the application. Refresh this page. Schedule processes. Say schedule new process. So the name is this job is common for any data, not only for supplier. Even if you are going to load open invoices or customers or transaction information or asset related data, any data, this is a common job to place the file in the interface table, to populate the data in interface table from the specific file. The job name is load interface file for import. This is a common job which we have to use for all the any sort of the data, master, transaction, or any module data. So select this job name and select the process name which would be specific to your data. Import process. So what we are going to import? Site assignments. Import supplier site assignments. Just look for that process name. Import supplier site assignments. Select, and where we have site assignments information, that file we have to select. Go to upload a new file. Click on browse and the site assignments. Sites, supplier address. Where is that file? This is site supplier. This is address supplier. Address, yes. Okay, site assignments. Say okay. Submit. Now this process will fetch the data from the zip file. Within the zip file we have CSV file. From CSV file it will populate the data into interface tables. Done. Just refresh this page. Go to schedule processes. Say schedule new process. A name you have to search with import supplier site assignments. Sometimes it is not showing if you try with the exact name. Better you can go with one character, maybe yes. From here you can search. Okay. Import supplier site assignments. This is a job we have to submit. Select and say OK. Just click on OK and say submit. Okay, done. The status is succeeded. Now you can go to supplier record. And again, you can search for the same. You could see the updates as site is assigned to PU. Click on supplier name. Go to sites. Just open this site. I think we go to site assignments. Here you can see the site is assigned to our business unit. So this is how we can create the supplier, and just will navigate to invoice workbench and we'll check whether the supplier which we loaded through this FPDA process is available to create the invoice or not, just to testing purpose, just to test the record is properly created or not. To verify that, we'll just try to do that. Go to invoice workbench, say create invoice. Sorry, not Cloud INC, right? It's FPDA. FPDA supplier. Yes. Supplier site information, everything is coming. Then system will allow us to create the invoice. That's all. So this is how just we can load the supplier data for testing. Just we taken just single record. The same way we can process multiple records. But when you are working on this process, it's just in one go. You cannot do it. Will be loading, system will be throwing some messages, warnings, or error messages. Based on that, we have to correct the template, and again we have to do it again. If you find some issues with that, again you have to correct till that data will be very much validated data. You cannot execute this. We have to keep working on it till we load complete data into application. So that's all about supplier conversion. When you talk about for supplier conversion, we have multiple templates. When you talk about invoice conversion, okay, so that is a single record. So we have a single template to just work on it. I'll take that topic here. Same process. We'll follow the same process, different template and different data. And when we are loading this invoice data, we have option where you can go and correct from interface. From interface level, we have access to interface. You can go to interface level. What are the record we have which got struck, with what reason you can see within the interface. The reason, with that reason you can correct the record and you can import into payables application. That option is available. Now we'll see this same process we follow. When I talk about process, same process.
So can't we import close paid invoices?
No, we cannot do in EBS, right? Importing and all. We have payables open invoice interface, payables open invoice interface. Only unpaid invoices you can do it. If you can do in EBS, here also you can do. There you cannot do. Okay. So the same is applicable here. Fine. Okay, first we have to download the template. We'll go and do it. So just search the keyword called as Oracle OER. Go to Oracle Enterprise Repository. Now, when you talk about payables invoices, the template should be part of financials. Suppliers templates we have as a part of procurement. When you talk about payable invoices, you have to select financials, select the release, and go with the books. And you can go to use. Otherwise, from here also you can search for file-based data import for financial cloud. Click on HTML, and here we have a file-based data imports. Select So it will display these all the different templates which are available within the financials. Now we need this template. So payables standard invoice import. Okay, so payable standard invoice import template. You know the process how to download the file, right? Right click and say save link as. So you can take into the same folder. FPDI AP. Save. And just notice, so which sub process we have to run? Import payable invoices. This is a sub process which we have to run, and these are the interface tables where data will be stored in the first stage. Then that from there it will be imported to base tables. And if you are going to place this file in the UCM, this is a path account you have to use. But anyway, without taking into UCM also you can do it. That's what we did. From addresses only for supplier profile only we taken into UCM account and we processed. Without taking into UCM account, directly you can process. But if you want to place the file in the UCM account, you have to go with the fin payables import. Fine. So here we have the template. Open this template. We can find the sample data. You could see many records in this. Please don't unmute if you don't have any question. I could please clear some noise. Okay, close any message which you see. So now here we have a two tabs: AP invoices interface, AP invoice lines interface. Okay, so all the fields are open. There are no hidden fields. Now what you can do is you can remove all the records. So there are many invoices they given as a sample data. You can remove all except one. One we can use for reference. Okay, just remove all these records. So they given 1 lakh records. And lines also you can remove. Go to AP invoice lines. Just except one, rest all you can remove. Okay. First remove the sample data. Fine. Still I think we have. Just 1 second. A few records are missing. I mean, left the sheet. Just only one record, that is fine, done. Okay. Now just it's all about invoice header information. So invoice ID, it's in the just on the fly in the process only system will use this invoice ID. So you can just enter any one of the numbers here. Any number you can enter. And business unit, enter your BU name. So the BU name is Cloud INC US Business Unit. And from which application, from which source you are bringing this invoices information, your legacy system name, or else you can just keep that source name as external. Yes, external data we are bringing into payables. And invoice number, I'll say FBDI 1. Invoice number is 1. Invoice amount, say $5,000. And invoice date. Okay, so when you talk about date, basically it should give some pop-up when you place the cursor here. So no issues. So take here, oh, 1 second, year, month and date. So month, June, 20th, 18. And supplier name. So we'll go with the supplier, which is supplier we created just now. FBDI supplier. Okay, FBDI supplier. And here these two fields got 2 star marks. That means any one of the field is mandatory that you could see here. At least one is required out of those 2 which are next to next. So number we don't know, not required, also remove it. Site name. Site name, what we given, FPDA site. We have to check it once. We'll go to invoice creation page. From there we can take the site name.
It is FPDI site.
Okay. FPDA site, yes. We'll just copy and paste it. And invoice currency USD, payment currency also same. And if you need invoice description, you may enter, otherwise ignore it. Import set. To group the invoices in the process, you may use import set, but not mandatory. Invoice type and the legal entity also not mandatory, based on the BU system will default the legal entity. This information is not required. If you want to enter, you can enter it, but not required. So, once you select BU, the legal entity will be defaulted. If you want to enter, you can enter. It's optional. Okay. You can ignore it or else you can enter it your wish. So payment terms, yes, we can go with immediate, and term date and all those. You just copy from here the date which you mentioned. The same you can use. Same date you can take as a term date. From today date, it has to calculate due date based on current payment term. So accounting date also same. So payment method is check. The same we have site level also. And pay group standard, if you want to keep it, you can keep. Otherwise, you can remove it. It won't be, anyway, it's not mandatory one. And go through other columns. Here, liability account code combination. So it will derive from the supplier site if it is available. Otherwise, directly it will take from the common options. So otherwise, if you want to enter, you can enter here. So where you can see, if you go to show more, here you could see under accounting, you can see the liability account code combination, which system is taking from the common options, since that account code information is not available at site level. The same you can copy and paste. These details not required. The payment priority, settlement, etc. No, not required. Just go through all the columns. Just verify all the column because we are preparing this record based on the sample record. So done. So now go to AP invoice lines interface. So these lines what we are entering, those should point to the specific invoice that you can map with the invoice ID only. Invoice ID is 111. Here also you should take 111 if the lines are belongs to the same invoice. 111. Okay. So line number and line amount. Invoice amount we entered 5,000. We'll go and create one line. You can enter the 5,000 and just verify the other fields this level. If you have a distribution set, you can give the distribution set or you can provide any one of the distribution account. Take distribution account code combination. You may search for some expense account. Anyway, here we are not creating invoice in the application directly. So just to pick the code combination, I'm using this. So this is the distribution account, for example. Or else you can select you can enter the distribution set name which is available in the application already. We are not using distribution set. And date and all you can take from here. Just verify other columns. Okay, no sample data we have in this record, so only the data which we entered that is available. Done. Fine, done. So invoice ID is 111, the same we entered here. That's how these lines will be connected with the invoice header. Okay, done.
Is the ID same in the base table? Does it
No.
number goes to base table?
No. That is
Right.
system will have its own logic. It will generate in sequence. Here you can give anything till it goes under the base tables. Meantime, this relationship need to be maintained till this record will go and store in the database. That is the purpose. That's all. This won't get stored in the database. Okay. So system will have that unique sequence, right? That sequence, what they programmed that it will.
I think this number is only for interface table.
Exactly. Fine. Now you can just say generate CSV file and save into the same folder. Now it will create two CSV files because we have header and lines. Save. Again one more CSV. Save it. Done. Those two CSVs it will take into zip file. If you want to check it, you can go and verify. AP invoice import, open this zip file. You can find two CSVs. AP invoice interface, AP invoice lines interface. Now the process remains same. Only just you have to understand which job we have to use. Import payables invoices. This is a job we have to use. Rest of process remains same. Fine. Just refresh this page. Schedule processes. We'll do one thing. We'll to understand that. We'll go to this file. The system generated this file, right? I'm just deleting it. Okay, I'm deleting that file. And no CSV files here we have, right? Okay, good. Now what I'll do is for our testing purpose, okay, I'll just, so these CSV system added in the sheet also, those also you can delete it. Those two CSVs it will add within the same sheet, those you can delete. Now this is sample data. I mean, this is the data which we prepared. For our testing purpose, what I want to do is, so that we can go and correct an interface level, I'll take the payment terms, the wrong name. I'm just removing E with a IMM DI80, no payment terms exist in the payables. When you try to import into base tables from interface, this record will fail. So how to correct interface level, how to import, that we'll look into. Save it. No need to save, just you can generate the file now. We'll do one thing. Remove this, delete. What you can do is save this file. First save it. To save, by selecting the same template, you can save it. Yes, yes. Sometimes if you don't save, it won't generate the zip file. So earlier without saving you could do it because the actual file is already first time saved. So here now just we did some changes. So that is remain as is or not, we'll go and verify yes. Now we'll go and generate the file, generate CSV file. Save it. Save the CSV file. Save it. Done. Now we'll go and import. The first step is we have to load this file into interface table. Within this file, what are the data we have to load into interface. As per this sheet, all the mandatory fields are there. So this record will be accepted within the interface. Because immediate payment terms, the mandatory yes we have. But whether the payment terms are available in the payables application or not, only system will validate when you submit import process from interface to base table. Okay. So just refresh this page. Schedule processes. Click on schedule new process. The job name is load interface file for import. Just say OK. The import process name is payables invoices, right? Import payables invoices. So you can take the same and you can place here and search import payables invoices and select the data file. You can go with the upload a new file option. Say browse AP invoice import. Say OK. Now the data, the file information, the invoice information will be populated in the interface and system will accept. So it won't cross check with the application data when you talk about the payment terms exist or not, right? Just it will look for the validation, the mandatory fields related data is available or not. And in the respective format again. The format validation also it will have for date and other stuff which are applicable in terms of format.
Does Fusion supports the EDI imports?
Electronic data interchange.
Yeah, is it supported in
Yes,
Fusion?
you can do the mapping through SOA. You can do that. Okay, fine. Now the next step is importing the same data from interface to base tables. Refresh this page to submit the same job. Import payable invoices. Now this process should end with an error. The reason, the record, whatever you have in the interface that has invalid payment term. Cloud INC. Source. What is the source name? External, right? External. The record, whatever we created with the source called as external. You would have to select source name as external. The other parameters are optional.
Can we change the source name to conversion?
Yes, you can just enter. You can enter any source name in the sheet. You have to make sure that the same you are selecting at the time of import time to identify and fetch. You can use any source name. No issues. Any name you can enter there. The same name you have to select. And before that, that source name you have to define in the application, because they all are coming because the payables source names. Okay, task we have from the task, these all are coming. Okay, if you are going to enter some new name, that first you define in the payables the payable source names, then you enter the same name exactly in the spreadsheet, and when you are importing with the same name with the same reference, you can import. Done. Okay, submit. Now this should fail. So in this application, there is some bug. This process is showing as succeeded. Reality, no. You go to report. Okay, it's not pointing the error. So you can go to report output. There you could see as it is failed. The status indication is displaying wrongly. So invalid terms. Okay. So payable open interface import. The reason. Okay. The total lines rejected 1. The reason is invalid terms. Invalid payment terms we have in the invoice record. Now what you could do is go to interface. Go to payables interface. Go to invoice workbench. Basically this should end with error, but it's just showing as a succeeded. That is a kind of bug we have. So go to invoice workbench. To correct interface errors, here we have a task which will open the spreadsheet, nothing but ADFDI. So here you have a correct import errors task. It will allow us to connect the payables open invoice interface. Correct import errors. Click on this. Say OK. Say connect. Provide login credentials. Whatever. Cloud INC. Don't go with installations and all. Say skip. import errors. If any errors data is here, it will display. So our invoice record system will display here. Okay, done. There are a lot of data that is didn't took this much time and all. Okay, there are many records. But now we'll find our record. So here you can find the first record is ours, the latest one. This FPDA supplier, FPDA site, and you just go with the payment term. Terms are wrong, right? You have to correct. Done. That's how you can just correct it. And you have to go to this section, correct import errors. Okay. Now the data, whatever the data we are able to see that is available in the interface level, so we corrected. If you want to save that corrections within the interface itself, you can click on save. Okay. Otherwise, if you want to save and you submit import payable invoices, you can click on that. Let's proceed with this so that again you don't need to submit import payable invoices job. Okay. Say save and submit invoice import. Okay, just you can click on this. Say for example you want to delete specific record. In that case, here we have a delete column. These are the data available in the interface tables. If you want to delete specific record, the process is double click specific record, and within the delete column, double click, it will get selected. Then you can click on mark all deletions. Sorry, here no, this is mark all for deletion, means all. One specific record you want to delete, you select, double click, it will get selected. Click on save. Once you select any record for deletion, and if you click on save, that would be deleted. This is the point we have to understand when you deal with this sheet. Okay, if I want to delete this record, you see this, I'll delete it. The record number is 83232 313233. Okay, last two digits. I want to delete. How to delete? Double click, it will get selected, then click on save. You could see here 32 is missing. The record is deleted. That's how you can delete. That is a process you have to follow to delete it. Okay, now fine. So again, once you click on save, so system saved our record also. Row updated successfully. It saved updates as well as saved the deletion selection. Fine. So you can just click on save and submit invoice import. So already that is the record is saved. So now what you could do is you can just go and run the import process. Just 1 second, it is processing.
So Lakshman, does it identifies the change in the record? Only it identifies.
Yes,
it runs the import only for that record.
It identifies what you said.
Does it identifies the changed record and the import runs only for that record, or it runs for all again?
No, it identifies first to change records. For that, only those records it will run.
Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of records, it's always like a performance issue.
It will just, there should be some filtration, right? It just look at only that record.
So when we run the ADFDI, so it pulled out all the invoices from the interface table or from the base tables?
Interface table, not base table.
So all these France business unit invoices, except the one which we are trying to load, they are all
other BUs
uploaded by other users in interface.
Exactly. Interface means it's not BU specific access, right? Direct interface access. All the BUs. We'll just submit that import process. Say import payables invoices. Source should be external, right?
Lakshman, from ADFDI, can we do kick off this job without doing manually of this running?
That's what I said. Yes, we can do that. We can do that. So in that case, we have to use this function. But I just show you the delete function. I already clicked on save.
So that record got deleted from the interface.
Yeah, that deleted and these updates are changed. Oh, sorry, the updates are saved. So that is the reason, just even if you submit this, there is nothing to save and to submit for import, already saved. That is the reason we are going with the manual process. You did some changes and directly the changes you want to save as well as you want to import that changed and saved records, you can use this at a time. Okay. Yeah. After saving, you cannot use this function. It won't identify any record to save, so that it cannot select that record to import. That is the reason.
But yeah, correct. But if we make any additional changes, still we can go ahead and do it.
Yeah. You go to other invoice and do changes and submit. Only that import will be applicable for the changed and saved record.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Now we'll look into this report output. Download this output file. You can mute from your end. I could hear noise sometimes. Please. So payables open invoice interface import report shows the total invoices imported are 1 in the 5,000 which we entered in the FPDI 1 invoice number FPDI supplier. Now you can find this invoice in the payables workbench. Go to invoices. So this ADFDI, this ADFDI function is available only for invoices, not for suppliers. Supplier data import, you cannot use it. There is no option. Only for invoices they give. You can go to recent, you could see the invoice which is imported. FPDI 1, supplier name is FPDI, and status, and if you scroll little right, you could see the source, external. Then you know the rest of process, right? Validating, accounting, etc. That is quite standard process. Okay, that's all about conversion, suppliers as well as open invoices. Okay, so we're done for today. If you want to drop from the meeting, you can go ahead. If you have questions, you can stay back and we can discuss. We validated email account and we can process for the payment. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, is there a conceptual understanding of what they give the ADFDI? So, like
ADFDI?
Multiple records. What is the concept?
No. Simple point. The regular process purpose they give ADFDI. In the regular process, what we do is all the time we have to use existing data, right? If user is creating something, they need existing setup data, which would be available in the ADFDA. You are creating an invoice.
You mean transactional? You mean transactional data? They gave the ADFDI. For the master data, they didn't.
No. That is correct. That statement is correct. Other than that, simply you can say, so transactional data, but when you talk about transactional data, even you have FBDI also. Of course, as you said, the ADFDI you cannot use for setup data. That is also true. So, but it's primarily for regular transactions. Normally, whatever you use on regular base, for those transactions they provide, which will have a connectivity with the application. When you are in the ADFDI, you'll be able to pull the data from the application. You'll have a connectivity with the application. You can select the data. When you talk about FPDI, it's an offline sheet, which normally we use only in case of data conversions. Okay. So.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So FPDI, it's an offline sheet, which we use in the conversions. ADFDI, it's an online sheet, which always you can see the connectivity with the application. The suppliers, whatever you have in the application, those you can find from ADFDI, not from FBDI. Okay, that's how we can just use it. This got replaced with this function called as WebADI in EBS. Fine, done. So that's all for today. Any questions from anyone, please?